From the bitterness of disease, we learn the sweetness of health. Typhoid fever has been present since 430 BC, and is still prevalent in society today. Typhoid fever has not only affected people clinically, but has changed society systematically.
Welcome everyone to this presentation on typhoid fever. My name is Nareda Albiz, and I'm a part of the prevention team. Here's the rest of my group.
My name is Julia, and I'm part of the prevention team.
My name is Neem. My name is Mithil, and I'm part of the prevention team.
My name is Pravat.
My name is Priya.
My name is Isabel. My name is Natalie.
My name is Charmaine, and this is our treatment group.
My name is Serena.
My name is Julia. My name is Ryan.
My name is Anita.
My name is Patrick. And my name is Ada.
So what is typhoid and how does it affect people? Typhoid affects 21.6 million people a year and it kills up to 200,000 ranging from 600,000. It is an infectious disease, a bacterial disease, and it also transfers through oral, hand contact, and sewage. High fevers.
So before we begin talking about typhoid, we need to first start about talking about where the location is that's being currently affected. So in 1993, the first case of typhoid was found in a Nigerian hospital. As the years progressed and as time continued to move on, more people got infected. And in 2010, the cases of Nigerian typhoid was 26.9 million. The reason for this is due to the poor sanitation that is currently being implemented in Nigeria right now, specifically Bauchi State. Many people are irrigating their crops with sewage water, which they feed into all the village, and many people also drink from this water. This is due to the open defecation that happens in public spaces, which are used every day. Due to these diseases, and due to typhoid and due to the health issues, many people are contracting this disease very quickly.
So typhoid and why it's significant in Bauchi. Why isn't it just another common cold that we deal with every year? Well, to put it in perspective, it has a high fatality rate. Look around you. Look to your left and look to your right. I'm being serious. I estimate there's around 60 of you in this room. 20 of you are dead. The second reason is it has a high transmission rate. As you know, as it was said earlier, it is spread through fecal-oral route, and as you know, the sanitation system is bad. The sewage is used to irrigate the crops, which spreads it like wildfire. The third reason is it's becoming multi-drug resistant. It's become resistant to drugs like ampicillin, which place more stress on finding drugs that work, more cost. Now, some benefits that would help typhoid. It has a direct correlation with sanitation. By treating the things that cause typhoid, you are directly helping the sanitation system, which is another benefit to typhoid. The second benefit is that the community impact. Believe it or not, death in the community has impact. Third of all, economic surge. On average, a patient will spend around $120 per visit. This isn't Fauci money. This is American money. 120 is a lot for people who spend dollars a day. Imagine if these people had money, how much it could go back into the community and how much it could surge the economy.
Let's talk about how typhoid spreads. We can't learn how to treat and prevent typhoid without knowing how it spreads. Humans are the only natural carrier and reservoir for the bacteria, and typhoid spreads through five main ways. Through orally, through infection originating from the gastrointestinal tract, contaminated food and water, physical touch when bacteria enters an open cut and is transmitted to the bloodstream, blood contact when your blood mixes with another infected member's blood, and the feces and urine of carriers entering your system.
Now that we have talked about now that we have talked about the spread of typhoid, we're going to talk about the host factors. Typhoid is usually prevalent in the ages of 5 through 19, but anybody can get it. Males are most commonly to get typhoid than women. Most people get infected during the months of March through August, but mostly in April.
As you mentioned, there are a variety of host factors that typhoid proceeds in. So it is important to understand the preventive measures needed in order to resist typhoid. In order to prevent typhoid, we need to control the reservoirs and carriers in order to limit the number of cases. We can do this by ensuring sanitation in places where people usually interact with on a daily basis. You can do this by disinfecting surfaces such as doorknobs, cooktops, and overall any place such as, and overall keeping your home, bathrooms, and kitchens clean. And maintaining hygiene is a great way to prevent the spread of the disease. Also, if the vaccine is available, it is important so that you prevent yourself from getting sick and feeling those symptoms. Also, using non-contaminated, clean water to drink or to cook is important to ensure yourself that you're not exposing yourself to the disease. Also, avoiding going to areas where it is more likely to contract typhoid, specifically during times where it is more common. This is especially important for tourists who are planning on going to these places. And using clean water to irrigate soil is just as important, since using contaminated water can lead to contaminated food products, which then can lead to illnesses when that food is consumed.
To start off on our workshop, we'll start off with Activity 1. Activity 1 consists of 2 materials. 1, an ink pad, and number 2, refreshments. This ink pad will act as typhoid fever, and the actual ink will be salmonella bacteria. What would happen is the facilitator would dip their fingers in the ink pad. Then, they would go and grab a refreshment and come back to where they started. The participants should see that the ink is spread across all the refreshments and where the facilitator touched. This shows how efficiently typhoid fever spreads. The ink is being spread across all the refreshments. If the ink was literally typhoid fever, then all of that area would be infected with typhoid fever. After the participants understand this fact, the facilitator would go and wash his hands with soap or water. The ink would come off instantly, showing how effective soap and water is to removing typhoid fever. Kid Cudi once said, "Living life is a choice, but making a difference in someone else's is not." Let's make a difference. Let's be that something.
After activity 1, we have matching cards to show the causes of typhoid and the significant prevention methods for typhoid fever. To add on, it will eliminate any language barriers for this activity to further communicate with locals in Bauchi, Nigeria. We only need 2 materials for this activity: cards and tape. First, the facilitator will tape 4 pairs of cards to the wall separately. Second, the facilitator will then pick the card that the participant chooses to pick and describe the issue more in depth. For example, we have one card that describes dirty hands versus another card that describes clean hands, implying that hygiene is a crucial form of prevention. Third, facilitator will then pick another card that correlates with the card that's already been picked. Fourth, if the match is correct, then the facilitator will flip the card and reveal a check. However, if the match is incorrect, then the facilitator will set aside the card and wait for it to be reorganized for the next round.
Our next activity is activity 3, how to make a waterfall. This will approximately be 15 minutes, making this our longest activity. What we'd like to emphasize in this activity is the importance of clean water. Of course, in the United States, we take clean water for granted, but in Nigeria, it's terms of life and death. Materials we'll use is alum, which is a chemical that purifies water, boiling water, and visual handouts for the learner. The facilitator will be running the show. First off, the facilitator will pass the handouts to each participant. Next, he'll take out the boiled water. This boiled water will be preheated in activities 1 and 2 for time's sake. Finally, the facilitator will put the alum into the boiled water. The alum will dissolve in the boiled water and create purified water. Finally, the facilitator will pass out flyers for the participants. Not only how to educate them how to wash their hands, but where they can find local shops on where to make their own soap. Clean water is imperative in Nigeria, and this activity makes sure we do so. This flyer is an example of our handout that will be passed.
So we've just gone over our workshops. Now let's talk about the design of our workshop. It's very deliberate. So the order of our activities is planned so that participants will understand and retain the most information. First off, we have our painting with typhoid activity, which is supposed to show how easily typhoid fever spreads and that it is very serious because if you have 20 people in a room and one person has it, potentially everybody could get it. Secondly, we have our matching cards activity, which shows ways in which an individual can get typhoid and how they can do something to prevent getting typhoid from those ways, so proper sanitation. And then lastly, we have our from contaminated to clean activity, which shows how you can filter water and also obtain materials and instructions to make liquid soap. This activity is especially important because it provides participants with an easy, sustainable way to gain access to clean water and liquid soap, which, as mentioned before, is not a convenience in Nigeria as it is here in the US. So the main priority of our prevention workshops is to educate our participants so well that they feel comfortable to spread what they've learned to others in their community, impacting more individuals than just 30. Now, to measure and make sure that participants leave the workshop with a lot more information than they had previously, this is our pre and our post test, which will let us know the impact and the knowledge that our participants have gained.
While there's many ways to prevent typhoid fever, in the event of a person actually contracting it, they should go to a hospital to receive care immediately. The main form of treatment is antibiotics, mainly ciprotab, which is available in Nigeria. Supportive treatment is also used in most cases, which includes adequate nutrition such as carbohydrates, protein, vegetables, fiber, and anything easily digestible or immune-boosting. Hydration is also used to replenish lost fluids and restore the body's ability to heal itself. Antipyretics are commonly used to reduce fever, such as ibuprofen.
So the first activity for the treatment part of the workshop is a discussion. So this discussion is focused on just educating about basically what typhoid fever is. And also through this discussion, participants are able to share with each other any experiences they've had, how they dealt with it, and also the facilitator will be able to answer any questions that the participants may have. So by the end of just this discussion, we would like the participants to be able to know basic knowledge about typhoid fever, the treatment about it, and how to go about it if they do get it. And also, we would like them down the line for this information to be transferred to their neighbors, spouses, children, anyone who can learn from this experience.
Activity 2 is called Match the Symptoms. As the name implies, participants will be given matching cards with the 3 weeks, week 1, week 2, and week 3, and given a bunch of symptoms. They're supposed to match the symptoms in which week they occur. With typhoid fever, there are 3 weeks as the symptoms develop. The first week is when the symptoms are as bad. The second week is when they start to get worse. And the third week is when the symptoms become fatal and it's the worst week possible. So with this activity, participants will be able to understand how it is important to recognize the symptoms in the first week so they can get treatment then instead of waiting until it progresses to get bad. Because as you go on in the week, the worse the treatment gets, the more it costs. So it's important for the participants as their parents to recognize that their kids are developing symptoms of typhoid and get the treatment as early as possible.
You just got infected with typhoid. What symptoms are you feeling? What do you eat? What do you drink? What do you do? These are all questions that will determine how we fight through your infection. We would like to introduce you to the third activity, Choose Your Fate. In this activity, participants will be both tested and educated on how to accurately respond to a typhoid infection. They will be given a scenario. A father must care for a son who may have been exposed to typhoid. They will help him identify symptoms, seek care, and follow treatment. As the activity progresses, they will make choices on nutrition. What should you eat when you have typhoid? They will learn about medication, what antibiotics, and they'll also learn what not to do, what will worsen your symptoms. By the end of this activity, participants will not have just been told what the signs of the treatment for typhoid are, but they will have been immersed in an experience that will stay with them. And hopefully, when the time comes, if it comes, and they have to choose their own fate with typhoid, they know the answers.
So this is our budget for both workshops. So in total, we got $1,500, and the refreshments were $250. The ink pads for the first prevention activity were $5. The flyers, handouts, and matching cards in total are $250. The alum for the clean water is $20, and the extra money that we have left over is $9.75. So for the flyers, the reason why we decided to spend a good amount of money on that was because we wanted to ensure that we could take advantage of the opportunity we got to share this knowledge, not only to the 30 participants that we have, but also in the clinics where we would put up our treatment flyers. And also, the participants are going to get extra handouts which they can give to their neighbors, their friends, other parents, just so we can ensure that the knowledge that we provided reaches as many people as possible. And with the extra money, we decided to give free treatment to everyone who does decide to come to this workshop. And also, with the money left over, we're going to donate to the Bauchi Clinic, so whoever comes in can also get free treatment. These are the handouts. So the first one is a treatment handout, which will be placed in Bauchi clinics and also given out to the participants. These two are advertisements that we would put out just to ensure that we get the biggest turnout possible.
So, in conclusion, this week we didn't just learn about the symptoms of typhoid, how to prevent it, and how to treat it. We learned that typhoid fever is a very serious issue in Nigeria and in other African countries, and that it has detrimental effects on individuals, their families, and society as a whole. So the goal of our workshop is to inspire each participant to share what they learned with at least one other person. And if those individuals feel inspired to share with, again, at least one other participant, we'll be impacting almost 100 individuals. Because we see and hope for a Nigeria where the cases of typhoid are as low as they are in more developed countries. Because one case of typhoid that is prevented can prevent the occurrence of many, many more cases. So we look forward to working with you guys and making this public health campaign successful. Thank you for your attention.
All right, Dr. Aisha.
Okay. The typhoid group, thank you very much for this wonderful presentation. And I liked how you all introduced yourselves in the beginning. It was nice, okay? And the part that I loved the most was the part where, I mean, I love everything about it, but I had to choose my favorite. So the long-term effects of type or the prevention or health literacy, it's really wonderful because you can treat a patient today and the person can come back next month with the same illness. But when you institute a measure or a policy or whatever that will prevent this illness, not just for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, because even treatment is not as important as prevention, okay? It is important, but you know, they always say prevention is better than cure. I didn't say it, but I believe it, okay? So long-term measures are very, very important in any disease we're dealing with. And your activities were straight to the point, you know, easy, you know, to comprehend, and you know, the presentation, the slides were orderly, you know, everything about this presentation was wonderful for me, really. And the order of your activities, you know, the way you highlighted how your activities would be, you know, one stage after, super, it was wonderful. I loved your confidence, all of you. You know, you have made me proud. You know, if you remember in the beginning of my lecture on Sunday evening, I told you, you all will be transformed into something else by end of the week, and I can see it, and I'm sure you all can see it. It's palpable, you can feel it. So congratulations and well done, guys. You did an amazing job. Really, really well done. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, my take. Now, so first thing I actually noticed about your team is the teamwork. I really like how you go one after the other for everyone to have a take in this presentation. So it's what actually makes it a successful one. The second point is that I really picked interest on using the available resources because I always keep telling people that, hey, it's not all about executing a project, but the sustainability plan. How do you make sure that if you're not there, how can people continue with this? So you guys are really, really incredible coming up with all these ideas. And I'm pretty much sure the kind of people that are going to participate in this project are people who are going to benefit a lot from it. You also make emphasis a lot on the threat, which is very, very important. Because sometimes for people to take their life seriously, you need to tell them the danger ahead of them. And you have like a sneaky way of showing them that it's really going to affect their pocket. That's really smart. I like that. So nobody wants to spend more money at hospitals. But just like Dr. Aisha said, that you guys actually create a long-term plan that people can actually vouch for so that they don't have to keep coming back to the hospital almost all the time. You actually utilize your budget. I like the way you presented the budget. After spending everything, you have the leftover, and you were able to define where this money is going for and what this money will be used for. And this is more or less like an insurance given to those who participated to the program. And it's an incredible thing and a very beautiful thing that everyone will look forward to. So we're not hoping for them to get sick because they want to use that money, but for some reason we know that it is a challenging environment that for in one way or the other, somebody will get sick. So thank you guys. I can't thank you enough for this wonderful presentation. You have like a very rich information. So, and this information, every part of it is important. And I think this is what people are looking for. Something that is going to educate them, something that is going to make them to learn about something. How can they actually prevent their life from all these attacks? So, like myself, I've been going through this. And I'm telling you, I'm stealing something from your presentation. So, to see how it's going to work for me. So, thank you so much. And I'm really proud of all of you. You have done an incredible job to put all these things together in 1 week. I don't expect anything more. So congratulations.
All right, I'll first echo what Dr. Aisha and Kumar said because I agree with all of it. I was overall very, very impressed by how concise, how direct all of the slides were, the confidence that you all had in speaking. The activities were interactive, were demonstrative, were engaging. I liked that they're practical and fun for them to actually gain some really, really useful knowledge, like making soap. The discussion of the risk factors before we went into everything and talking about disparities based on gender or geography was really, really amazing. And overall, I just thought that it was incredible that you were able to put something as organized as this together in such a short period of time and then present it in such a clear and direct way. So congrats on getting that together this week.